Welcome back, conscious listeners. My name is Jen. This is the Listen Carefully podcast. I have been feeling everything lately, and I'm sure we all have. And with this topic today, I wanted to share about just the little nuggets that I've gathered with the clients I've worked with day to day. It could be this week, last week, a culmination, probably since I've been back from my trip, but ever since I've been back from my trip, I've really been reflecting a lot on the fact that everybody walked everywhere. Everybody was kind of in tune with their natural rhythms in that sense, where the time was accounted for differently because you had to walk to wherever you were headed. And I miss that. I miss walking places. If I were to walk places, I have several appointments in Denver. So it's interesting because, to me, the car is convenient. Interesting story about Denver this week. On my way back from Denver, the car in front of me on the freeway just completely came to a stop. It was very scary. Everybody was safe, but it was quite a miracle that everybody avoided whatever was happening. There was just this big blow up, almost like tube for the creek, some sort of blow up. I don't think it was a tire because it was like a big ball type thing, and I couldn't see it from being one car behind, but there weren't any honks, there weren't any screeches, there wasn't anything. And I know that I wasn't, in my thinking brain. And so that definitely set the stage on Tuesday. And then I had two clients on Tuesday that also shared driving experiences similar. And so I'm like, okay, is that a coincidence? But by the second story, I was like, there's something going on here. Not for me to figure out, not for me to know, but just a reminder of wow, I could have died, but I'm good. I'm taken care of. I'm protected. And again, not to just glaze over that, but to be like, wow, I am supposed to be here. I am here for a reason. Everything that's presenting and unfolding wouldn't be here if it wasn't a time to rise to the occasion and a place for me to land. So I don't take that lightly. I don't take it for granted. I take it as a reminder of that, what's meant to be will be. And every breath is a gift. And so I don't take it for granted. And it's a reminder that we can really come back into our moment, hold duality, hold multiple realities to be true at once. So whenever you're finding yourself in an extreme, there's always that balanced perception available. And I just wanted to share some nuggets from this week. I hope you don't mind me looking down. I'm going to be looking at my notes. So going off of that piece of not knowing the why or not understanding why, but knowing that you are protected and guided, I said, since it's a process, maybe it's not meant to be understood. And maybe what's meant to be understood will unfold as we go. And for me, for example, with the car, it's that changed my timeline, that changed my trajectory. It set me off the course for a minute. And what's so fascinating about that is I didn't feel scared. There have been other times when I've been in the car where someone in front of me does something crazy and I felt scared, but this was different. I didn't feel scared. It's making me think of the quote too. I mean, it was scary when I think about it, but when I go back to the feeling of the moment, I don't even remember. So it makes me think of that quote that says, life can only be understood when we look at it backwards. So life has to be lived, and then meaning comes from looking at what happened in the progression. Ooh. And some things are not meant for us to understand. Just remember that there's so much going on behind the scenes, Another theme that's been coming up is protecting other people's feelings. So just because it's been a pattern or because you've done it for a really long time, it doesn't mean that changing has to be hard. It just means that changing it is going to be different if that's what you so choose. If you want to do something different, that gets to come with your choice. So, where in your life are you holding back how you truly feel, holding back your honesty, your authenticity, your integrity to protect other people's feelings? And then I'll challenge you on a level deeper. Where is that actually about them or more about your own accountability? I had an example with a client this week where she did something different. And that different action mirrored to her that actually she is responsible for herself. She is responsible and accountable for her actions. No one else is, even if the pattern was in the past that others are. And it was a huge realization and a moment of understanding and a moment of honoring and a moment of respect. It was very powerful. What else? Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention every feeling's welcome. It's all encouraged as long as you're coming from ownership. So that looks like I statements. So every situation is unique, every family is different, and every child is leading their own way. So there is the learning curve at the very beginning because this is the art of relationship. If if there is a pressure around any kind of timeline or any type of thing, where is that pressure being generated from? Are there moments where discomfort comes, but then we try to see where the distraction of putting pressure on might come in? Okay, this one has a lot to do with my mission. Every moment is an eternity of its own. That is the magic. Every moment is an eternity of its own. That is the magic. Every moment there's an opportunity to be direct. Every moment there is an opportunity to communicate more clearly. Every moment there is an opportunity to refine what it feels like, to come up with the words to describe your experience, because your experience is all you have. That's what makes it so unique and powerful. It reminds me of when you wake up from a dream and find it hard to articulate the words. That's the feeling. Just breathing it in. Oh my gosh, this one's one of my favorites too. When you plunge into water, does it really matter if you believe in the ocean? Or, I'm sorry, when you plunge into the ocean, does it really matter anymore if you believe in water? Oh yeah. And safety has been coming up. So whether that's resources, finances, any type of security, any type of that safety, feeling either safe in our nervous system or even just safe to express. I feel like that's been alive as a theme this week. It's funny because I scribble my notes and a lot of it doesn't make sense. Okay, I think I know what this says. You'll never find yourself in a book. Is that what it says? Forgive me. And resistance. Resistance is another natural part of the process that comes up when we are being pulled back like a slingshot. So sometimes if things feel tight or there's tension, as soon as we surrender to it and let it move to its limit, then once that rubber band lets go, it propels us into the future. It propels us onto our next adventure. Sometimes, like, you can only exhaust something so far, and the rest has to be lived. It has to be through experience. And giving yourself grace for not knowing yet. Sometimes you don't know what questions you have until you come to places where the questions emerge. So one of the themes I was thinking of this week as well was let it be. Especially the part that says there will be an answer, even if it's not either the answer that we want or the timing, especially that we're thinking needs to be the case. I think that really sums it up, honestly. Like, yeah, I'm personally feeling really exhausted. I'm feeling the shift. And what else? Oh, this is another one. Having to prove ourselves. Where are we going above and beyond, our own boundaries or our own motions in the world to like overextend or over provide? And this might also go in with the theme of caretaking other people's feelings rather than supporting them through their own feeling. You can't take it on for others. You can just support them through it. Or sometimes the way to support them through it is by showing the boundary of, hey, this is what I am available for. This is what I'm not available for. Yeah. Yeah, I think walking the walk gives us what we need to talk the talk. And I know for me and my clients, sometimes we walk the walk together. Sometimes we learn these profound depths. Like we're side by side, we're both going through it, we're both learning the lesson. And I strongly believe that the clients that come to see me, it's like, yes, there probably is something similar that we're both growing through. And then in that vulnerability of growth and development, we both learn something about each other, as well as being a mirror for each other to realize our own potential, our own impact, and to receive that feedback. I have a dear friend that holds me accountable when she asks me questions. She has a really perceptive way of like knowing what I actually mean. And if that is in alignment with what I'm saying, she can tell that congruency. And I'm also thinking of another friend. She has such a gift with writing, and it helps me so much to anchor into who I'm becoming. She sends me letters, and when she writes cards, it's so helpful because that's something I perceive I'm still growing into. Is a story I've always told myself growing up is that I don't really have a way with words. And there's still moments where I feel that way, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to start a podcast so I can feel better expressed, so I can feel like I know what I'm up to, like I know what's happening. And it's interesting, it's interesting the phases, the stages, what comes and grows, So I hope some of this makes sense. If none of it makes sense, that's fine. Take what you need. Leave the rest. Have a great week. Take care.